Okay, today I'm going to go over the gatherable item type and the interacting item type and the differences between the two and when you might want to use one over the other. I already have the items I'm going to use in this video created. I've got this coin right here. I've used it in the past and I will probably use it again. I've got 3 monster eggs. They're from an area I'm currently working on, red, yellow, and orange. And then we have our egg machine, which is currently a thing. So I'm going to drag it over the create button. And then I'm going to change the item type to interacting. I'm going to come down here to these 3 buttons, 3 periods, and then I'm going to click non-flipping. And then I'm going to use the control key and the arrow keys to bring down the graphic and center it, and then control C to copy and control V to paste into the second cell. Now if I didn't bring the image down with the arrow keys, when I placed it in the world it would be floating above the ground, and I want it to be on the ground, nice and even. So this middle button up top is where we can use the interacting scripting code. So I'm going to type gets coin, and then gives red monster egg, and do the same for our other 2 eggs. And since I am giving the interacting a choice here, when the character gives the coin to the egg machine, the interacting itself is going to choose randomly which response it's going to use. So I added them to the inventory, just had to click them. And then we're going to save it, put it in the world. There we go, there's orange, there's yellow, and there's red. So that was nice and easy. Gave me all 3 different items, but since this is RNG right now, you could go a long time before you got all 3 different eggs. But it seems to be doing it pretty nicely so far. There we go. So we just got 2 yellows in a row. So it's RNG. Alright, so that was an interacting. Very nice and easy. You could use the same basic code set up to get any type of item dispensing that you want, whether it be a fruit machine, soda machine. I think Phil has a video where he did a soda dispenser, a juice dispenser. I think my screen just refreshed. Perfect, because we're going to move on to gatherables. So once again, I just dragged my thing base over the create button, and I'm going to change it to gatherable type. Once again, I'm going to control C and then control V into the second cell. Now since this is not an interacting, it's a gatherable, I have some more options here. I don't have to actually type in the code that I want to use. Instead, I just go to the bottom and check that button, and I have all these different options. So I'm going to check only on action. An action would be when the player, if they're on PC, hits the spacebar on their keyboard, or if they're on a tablet or iPad, presses the circular action button. And then here we have a respawn timer. Now, if you were making like some type of game where the player had to gather resources, you could limit or stagger their progress using these timers. And you can also use them in other creative ways that I have not thought of. I'm going to do 10 minutes for now, just for this example. We won't be waiting the full 10 minutes, it's just to show. And since the item is going to be down for 10 minutes, let's change this second cell a little bit. So what we're going to do is darken these red lights. So here's the first cell. This is when it's on and has the item and is ready to be used. And the second cell, the item, the graphics a little bit different. The lights have darkened. This lets the player know that the item is not ready to be interacted with. It's already been gathered and it needs to recharge. Now if we click the use button, we could set a requirement on what type of equipment, item, wearable, or body name that the player must use to actually gather the item. For this video, we're just going to leave it blank. We're going to give it the red monster egg, and we already checked only on action. So let's put this in the world. We'll put it on the other side of our coin stack. So when I stand in front of the machine and hit space, the egg just flies right out. So that's kind of a very basic difference between the two. The interacting type has more options. You can get pretty sophisticated with what you want to create. And the gatherable type is just a little bit more straightforward. They each have their pros and cons. It ultimately depends on what it is you're trying to achieve in your areas and your own comfort of use with each type. If you have some time, I would recommend checking out the interacting manual and reading up on all the different code options, because there's a lot you can do with it, and I'm having a lot of fun building this area I'm working on now with many different interacting types. So there you have it. That is my short little demonstration. If you have any more comments, or if there's anything else you would like to see, please leave a note below and I will get to it when I can. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the game.